It's the Kid Craddock Morning Show.
Those KiddNation members who know Kellie Raspberry have written us on the text and said in all caps, do not watch the substance. It's funny to see them all rolling in. So they know Kellie Raspberry. But Kellie Raspberry knows love. She is our love expert. And it's time for Love Letters to Kellie. You can always write her at loveletterskellie.com. There's a podcast out if you want to take a listen to that after the show. We do this on Mondays and Wednesdays. In fact, let's get right to it. By the way, this morning, Love Letters to Kellie is sponsored by our friends at BetterHelp. Look, I don't know where I would be without my support system, and I have different support systems. I think you guys are part of my support system. My wife and my kids are a huge support system for me. I have my friends that I can go to when I'm feeling down and talk things out. Now, when you think about your favorite leaders or your mentors or your idols, they don't all have the answers, but they do know when to ask questions or seek support from their community. Now, we're in a society that glorifies hyper-independence, and it's easy to forget that we're all better when we have a support system behind us. And therapy can actually be a source of support for any area of your life. It's time to shift the focus from doing it all yourself to knowing that we're better when we ask for help. And that is where a therapist could come in. Maybe you have a lot of questions about yourself or why you respond to things the way you do or why you feel pain in certain situations and you don't know why. Well, maybe dig into it and talk to a therapist and find out why you're feeling that way. And you don't need to have gone through a traumatic event to require a therapist. I think everyday life can get at us. We all feel a bit of depression from time to time, or we feel like we don't know what we're doing, or we're just floating out in the world. A therapist can help you. Somebody to talk to is always beneficial. By the way, BetterHelp is fully online. It makes therapy affordable, convenient, and they serve over 5 million people worldwide. You get to access a diverse network of more than 30,000 credentialed therapists with a wide range of specialties. And you can easily switch therapists at any time. They will not charge you for that. No extra cost. They want to make sure that you're matched up. So build your support system with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/kid today. You'll get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/kid. All right, Big Al.
Love letters. Love letters to Kellie.
That's me letting Al know to go first because I got to look at my letters.
Is that a solo? Oh. Dear Kellie, you're the love expert.
I am.
I've been with my boyfriend almost 4 years now. Our relationship and bond has honestly grown so much during this time. We are practically inseparable. We go and do everything together, Kellie. I can safely say he is my one. My question is, should I be worried that he still keeps old memories of his past relationships, as in several women, not just one in particular? For example, photos, cards, letters, personalized gifts, etc. He's never given me reasons to doubt his love. Should I just give him time to let go? I need an expert. That's from Rosamie.
I think it matters if he's constantly pulling them out and looking at them. I think a lot of guys just have stuff in boxes.
Stuff.
See, I had a bunch of pictures and love letters and things that I was asked to get rid of, and I did. And now I kind of regret it because I can't laugh about it and show my daughter and stuff like that. So I think it depends on, I mean, a lot of times it's just memories from your past and stuff. It just depends on, is he reminiscing? Is he holding it? I guess the motivation for holding on to them, it's just memories.
Right.
Are you threatened by memories? I mean, everybody's got a
Past.
Hopefully they have a past and dating history.
Yeah, I just
think a lot of women, especially, we're guilty more so than men. There are men that we go looking to create problems when we really, it's just not that big of a deal.
Right.
I guess it depends also on what is he holding on to. Are they intimate photos?
Yeah, that's different.
Is it real, like, overtly sexual stuff?
Yeah.
I guess it just depends on what is he holding on to. If it's some pictures
just
and letters,
some
who
cards,
cares?
yeah.
It's them at prom. Not a big deal.
And there's nothing less attractive than an insecure
Person.
person. It really, truly, there's not. Yeah. So, I mean, why do you even know where this stash is? Where, is he keeping it out in the open? Does he have the picture setting on? There's so many questions I have. I just had mine shoved in a box underneath, back in a closet.
Yeah.
And that's fine. And you shouldn't look, like, your spouse should not go look at it, or your partner, because that's your memories. That's why you're feeling that way, right? If you go look at it.
It's kind of funny to go back and kind of laugh at it.
Yeah,
it's funny.
fine.
I think one day years ago we brought in old letters and poems and stuff that our exes wrote to us. It's funny and fun, and it just, I don't know. It depends on the nature of what he's keeping, where he's keeping it. That's when I would have a problem with it. But if he's just hanging on to memories, who cares?
Yeah, they're just memories.
Love letters. Love letters to Kellie.
Dear Kellie, you are the love expert.
I am.
So I'm 34, and I had known for about 15 years that there was a possibility that the man who I called dad was not my dad. I became a mother within the last 15 months, and it started to really bother me to the point where I took a 23andMe and Ancestry DNA test, and it came back with a few matches that I had no idea who they were. It was weighing on me heavily, so I took a step further, and I hired a genealogist. That's where the bombshell came in, Kellie. My mother was separated from the man I called dad and had a relationship with a coworker who I assume was my father. Nope. It's a completely different man. I questioned her some. However, she stated she did not remember. Now, in November of 2024, she reconnected with an old friend of hers, and her friend reminded her that they went to a nightclub one night, met a young man who was in college at the time. They had a one-night stand, but couldn't remember his name. She kept that from me until January of this year. To say that I was furious, Kellie, is an understatement. Well, fast forward a couple weeks ago, I found the potential father. I found his business online, and I sent him an email. And I dropped the bombshell as gently as I could. I'm afraid he deleted it or thinks it's just a scam or a money grab. I informed him I don't want anything other than to meet him and learn about any medical family history. I just wanted your opinion if I should reach out via post mail or call him or let it be. Thank you for your help, Bobby Joe.
It ain't about your medical history. People use that as an excuse.
A little bit. There's a little of that.
It ain't about your
A little
medical
bit of that.
history. Do you have any medical issues? I'm just asking. She's not answering. Maybe she is. Maybe she's yelling at the radio right now. I think it's more the fact, you
want to know your family.
Parents keep secrets from you because they don't want you to think less of them. And, that man raised you knowing that you were not biologically his, I would assume, and loved you, was there a problem? Yeah. And I understand you feel lied to, betrayed. I know curiosity is probably what's killing you the most. You just want to know. I mean,
if she thinks it's possibly a money grab, that leads me to believe he may be a successful business person.
Well, she doesn't know for sure.
It could be a money grab with a regular person.
There's so many scams nowadays.
Yeah.
There's so many scams. So I would, maybe reach out one more time, maybe with a letter, just, pouring your emotions into it. It's like, I just found this out. I'm just curious. Just be honest. I'm just curious. I'm not asking for anything. You could try one more time. But if he refuses, if this truly was a one-night stand, it's not like he shirked his responsibilities and denied you as his child and is this horrible person.
Yeah.
He has a life that you could potentially really disrupt and cause a lot of headaches. And there's just a lot. I know selfishly we want certain things, but you also have to think of the ramifications of what you're asking somebody else to do. I understand your curiosity and stuff. I understand that, but you have to think big picture here. Is like, what is the ultimate outcome? Do you think it's going to be this beautiful family reunion and they're going to welcome you with open arms and, oh my gosh, this is the lost daughter, the lost sister, the lost cousin? Because I was watching Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. Uh-huh. And this man was given up for his adoption, and his wife said, you need to find your birth family. You need to find them. And he's like, I don't really want to. No, I think it'd be beautiful. And it ended terribly. Mm-hmm. He was rejected. And he's like, I wish we'd never done it. Yeah. So there's that risk.
Yeah.
So I think you just have to look at your motivations. Look, Mama was a Rolling Stone. Right.
Right.
Mama was a Rolling Stone. And that was the cards you were dealt. But I think you have to play out best case and worst case scenarios.
Right. I was in that situation, and
you never knew you.
I never knew.
Okay.
Never knew. I was the same as her. I was told, and I sought it out, and they thought it was a money grab, and I kept pushing. For me, it turned out into a beautiful ending to the story, but it was very bumpy there, and it did affect my relationship with my mom.
Yeah,
because she then realized I was searching for something over there. So there's people that are going to be hurt regardless. Yeah. And I side with I think he needs to know he had a daughter. I think it sucks to be living life and not know that
but
you
if
have
she reached out and he doesn't respond. And
then you got to let it be.
How many times do you reach out? Twice? 3? Mm-hmm. What do you do?
She doesn't even know if he got it. That's the thing.
Yeah.
She doesn't know. I think you need to have that.
It's just such a risky thing.
Yeah.
I think a call would be fine. And if he says, I don't want anything to do, you got to respect that.
Yeah.
Unfortunate.
Well, I appreciate you chiming in because you've lived it and I have not.
Yeah, you have.
Yeah. It is absolutely difficult to maneuver them. There's no right answer, by the way. I get asked all the time. There's no right answer on how to go about it.
Love letters. Love letters to Kellie.
Dear Kellie, you are the love expert.
I am.
About a year ago, my grandma moved in with us, and everything was great at first. But as time moved on, we started to fight more and more.
Yeah, Grandma got comfy.
Most of the time, it's about really silly things. Like, I'll correct her that it's called twerking, not the twerk. But recently, I caught her tattling to my mom and saying that I'm mean to her and I walk carelessly around her. But at this point, it feels more like she's a little sibling. But she barely mentions it to me, and she goes to my mom instead. Aww. Kellie, what can I do? We fight constantly, and my brother and my parents are getting sick of it.
Oh.
I don't know how old this person is. Mm-hmm. I wish I could go back. There's so many things I wish I could go back and do over again with my grandparents who are no longer here.
Oh, man.
It breaks my heart, that I didn't spend more time with them, what a blessing to have your grandmother in the house with you. I just think that's amazing. And yeah, it can be annoying at times, but you do need to respect your grandmother and not be, who cares if she calls it the twerk? That's cute. You've got to learn to laugh at it. You've got to look at it through just a different lens, just of that's my grandma and she's not going to be here,
forever.
Much longer. Right. And instead of, fighting with her, why don't you start asking your grandma, share me some stories. What was it like when you were my age? Tell me about, I remember lying in bed, I'd go spend the night at my grandmama Raspberry's, and I would ask her about stories when she was a little girl. And I found out some really cool stuff, So maybe you start engaging her instead of being annoyed by her when she's,
Yeah.
That's my advice is just make the best of it. Because she's
I
not going
agree
to be here.
100%.
You're going to have some beautiful memories
100%.
of your funny grandma and all the quirky, aggravating things she used to do.
In her defense, back in the day, they used to say "the" in front of all the dances.
Come on, baby.
If that's your biggest complaint, that's the one example you could come up with.
That's cute. That's twerk.
The jive.
That's just how they did it back in the day.
The stanky leg.
Twerk, the stanky leg.
Yeah.
Yeah, we still do the stanky leg.
The stanky
That's
leg.
more recent. We put the in front of that.
The hustle.
The Charleston.
Yeah.
Grandma's just being grandma. Definitely do what Kellie did. Get to know your grandma. We all should. Well, we still have them.
Ask them questions.
You got 'em
about their
around,
childhood.
yes.
Seriously, they'd love to tell you.
Yeah. 'Cause I
Nobody asked.
Guaranteed.
I lost my grandma at 21 years old, and I don't have those stories. I didn't get to talk to her.
Yeah.
If you want to write our love expert, we do this on Mondays and Wednesdays, Kid Nation. Kellie Raspberry is our love expert. LoveLettersToKellie.com is where you can go and write her. And if you want a little extra later on today, when we get done with the show, there's always the Love Letters to Kellie podcast.